Testing, testing. Well, what's up, guys? In today's video, we will be reacting to 3 true Waterpark horror stories animated. I cannot talk today. Okay, this one right in the middle, the one with the scary man that I don't really find scary, with the just a raw leg. And with my co-host, we will have Anthony, Tejeda, or Tony. What should you tell us?
Hello.
Should be working good.
Hello?
Yes, it works.
Okay, hi. Okay. Now let's react to this.
Okay. We will be starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Story 1.
Pelican Plunge Water Park had been on our list all summer before my friends and I finally made it out there. It was one of the best water parks in Tampa, and we couldn't wait to hit the massive high-speed slides, which were basically the main attraction. It was a near vertical drop and pitch black inside.
Huh?
Okay.
You can't see anything once you're in the tube. It feels like you're literally falling.
Giggled Sarah, my friend Matthew's girlfriend. So you've been here before? I asked her.
A few times.
She answered, stepping up in the almost empty line. The park wasn't
Tony,
crowded
I think
that
I'm a little
day.
behind because I paused real quick, but it's okay.
Sarah went first. She was always the brave one, never scared of anything. She climbed to the top and waved down at us before she zipped into the slide. We waited at the bottom, watching the exit and waiting for her to come shooting out. 10 seconds went by.
No?
Then 20. And 30. She should have been out already. The slide only takes 15 seconds max.
It's a backrooms entity,
when a whole
like.
minute went by and Sarah didn't appear.
He's just dead. Just disappeared. There's teeth in it. Everyone's just dead.
Panicked.
Or
the lifeguard at the bottom radioed up to the top and asked if she'd actually gone down. They confirmed she'd entered the slide, but she never came out. The lifeguard looked confused.
This is speedrunning, getting into the back rooms.
Nice.
Maybe she got stuck, I suggested.
She got stuck. Dude, it's like so big. She cannot get stuck in there.
Maintenance worker. We stood there waiting and getting more nervous by the second.
How to speed.
About 10 minutes later, a worker showed up, grabbed a headlamp, and started climbing up the slide from the bottom, going against the flow and crawling through the tube. We kept watching the exit, waiting for him to find her and tell us she was okay. Maybe hurt, but alive. He was inside for maybe 5 minutes. When he came down, his face was pale, and he looked shaken.
It's been 35 years!
The slide is clear. There's nobody in there. That didn't make sense. We watched her go in. She never came out. So where was she? They checked the cameras and looked at the footage. Sure enough, she went down the slide at the top.
Yeah,
but since there was no camera at the exit,
getting into the back rooms.
No one could actually be sure if she ever came out. The staff searched everywhere, but Sarah had simply vanished. After an hour, they decided to restart the ride and let someone else go through. See if maybe there was a hidden exit or something they were missing. One of the staff members volunteered. He was a young guy who seemed nervous, but went anyway and climbed to the top.
Then he dies.
We watched from below. He entered the slide. We counted. Exactly 15 seconds later, he came shrieking. He hit the pool and immediately scrambled out, gasping and shaking. What happened?
There's something in there.
I hit something halfway down.
Oh yeah, only 2 people or 1 person's gonna come up.
Something touched me. It grabbed my leg. It pulled me in. It's terrifying or whatever. I don't know what happened.
We all froze. They shut down the slide again. This time, they sent 3 workers up with flashlights and searched every inch of the tube. When they got back about 30 minutes later, it was totally empty. No one was in the slide at all. But the guy who went down stood his ground. He definitely hit something and felt the softness of a human body. They called in more workers and searched every inch of the park until dusk fell. They finally found Sarah at the bottom of the pool, still as a corpse. They pulled her out and started CPR, but she was already gone.
She went
drowned.
into the back rooms.
The paramedics said she'd been dead for at least an hour, but that was impossible. She'd entered the slide and never came out of the exit. How did she end up in the pool? How did she bypass the entire slide? Nobody could explain it. Matthew was devastated. Sarah's mom couldn't stop crying. We spent the whole night together, talking about all the possibilities. Joey,
what's the curly-haired man doing?
Had recorded on his phone.
I'm going insane.
Started going through videos we'd recorded that day. Found one from right before Sarah went down the slide. He'd been filming from the bottom and pointing the camera at the exit and waiting for her to come out. He turned up the volume and really paid attention. At first, it was faint, but it was definitely there. A banging sound, like someone hitting the inside of the slide.
Shot, it
muffled
went
and
out,
desperate.
goes flying.
Suddenly, Sarah's
so
voice
fast,
called out from inside, screaming for help. He showed us the video. We all listened and watched. We could hear the banging and the voice. But the slide was supposed to be fast. You go in and you come out. There's no time to bang on the walls or scream, unless you get stuck or something stops you. But the workers checked and said the slide was clear. So what stopped her? What kept her in there long enough to bang on the walls and long enough to scream?
Random person
and how did
just
she
punches
end up
in
at
the
the bottom of the pool that wasn't even connected to the slide? The water park shut down the slide permanently and never gave a real explanation. It only posted that it condemned the tragic accident and equipment malfunction. But that doesn't explain the video, or the banging, or the screaming. Doesn't explain how she bypassed the exit, or how she ended up in the pool. I'm still trying to figure it out and make sense of it, because none of it makes sense. And the worst part is, we'll never know what really happened to her in that slide, what she saw or felt, or why she was banging and screaming. We just know she went in and never came out the way she was supposed to, and I can't stop thinking about it.
Story number 2.
I was only 19 when I landed my first gig doing admin stuff at Mission Bay Aquatic Park in San Diego. The water park was super popular amongst kids, so we literally had hundreds of families and kids coming through every single day. My job was mainly scanning tickets and helping out guests. It was totally nuts, but I seriously loved seeing all the kids having the time of their lives. The first week was a whirlwind, with so many staff members and new faces to keep track of. That's probably why it took me a few days to even notice the guy.
Oh yeah.
He was a lifeguard who always stood near the lazy river. He wore the standard uniform with red shorts and white shirt, with the park logo and whistle around his neck.
I'm gonna suck you under, I'm gonna make you drown, and the last child, I'm gonna drown myself so I don't get 5 years in prison.
And he never rotated positions like the other lifeguards did. They switched every hour to different stations and different pools, but this guy always stayed at the lazy river. I'd seen him every shift in the same spot and the same position. I thought maybe he was old in the job and was above the rules. But I still paid attention and started noticing his interactions with the kids. He'd pull them aside and tell them they needed a safety check. He'd go through their pockets while talking to them. He'd ask where their parents were and keep them talking longer than necessary. The kids would look uncomfortable, but he'd keep going, asking questions. I mentioned it to another employee. They shrugged and said maybe he was just being thorough, but it didn't feel thorough. It felt wrong. A few days later, I finally worked up the nerve to mention it to my supervisor. I described the guy, the faded uniform, the lazy river, and the way he talked to kids. My supervisor frowned and pulled up the staff list on her computer.
What's his name?
I realized I didn't know. I'd never seen a name tag on him.
Describe him again.
I told her whatever I remembered. He was pretty tall, probably in his late 40s, balding on top and rocking a gut. His eyes were all squinty, and he had this nasty smirk that made your skin crawl. She kept scrolling and checked every lifeguard on the roster.
Nobody like that works here, Susie. You sure about it?
My stomach dropped.
Absolutely. I've seen him every shift for a week.
She looked concerned.
Show me.
We walked to the lazy river and I scanned the area, but couldn't spot him.
He's always here, Zen, I swear.
We waited and checked the other pools and asked other staff if they'd seen him. Nobody had. It was like
Maybe
he
it's
vanished.
the opposite. He's dead.
My supervisor told me to report it immediately if I saw him again, and that if someone was impersonating staff, they needed to know. I went back to my station and kept looking over my shoulder, but it was as if the earth had swallowed him. His absence should have relaxed me. Instead, it freaked me out. Later that day, I was walking past a restricted maintenance staff only area behind the wave pool
just
when the
doesn't have
faint
actual
voices
feet. It
of a
just
man
got cut
and a
off.
little
It's all
girl
black.
halted my steps. I paused and peeked around the corner. He was crouched down next to a young girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old.
He's found
She
again.
was standing near a gate, the only one staff can use to get to the back areas, maintenance tunnels, and storage. Basically, places where no guests ever go. Your parents are inside, sweetie. They asked me to bring you to them. They're waiting. He was pointing through the gate. The girl
Maybe I was
hesitated
wrong.
and looked at the gate, and then back at him. She seemed unsure. I had had enough. Without wasting a second, I ran over.
Hey! What's going on?
The man immediately stiffened and stood up. The girl looked at me with relief in her eyes. I reached her and she grabbed my arm.
Do you know him?
She shook her head. I pulled her behind me and looked at the man.
You need to leave. Now.
Just helping out. She seemed lost. He smiled.
She's not going anywhere with you.
I pulled out my radio and called security. His expression changed and the smile dropped. He realized he was caught. He turned and started walking fast, trying to slip away. I followed but kept a safe distance. I only wanted to keep him in sight.
Get him.
Security showed up
Get
within
him,
minutes with 2
boys.
guards. They saw him and called out. He tried to run. They caught him and detained him right there. They searched his bag and found candy, extra clothes, and a fake badge identical to the real staff badges. He wasn't a lifeguard and never had been. He'd been posting as one to blend in and target kids. Police arrived and took him away.
Bye bye.
The little girl's
Wyatt.
parents were found. They'd been looking for her and didn't know she'd been approached or how close she came. The officers asked me questions. I told them everything. They said he'd been doing this for weeks and moving between water parks and wearing fake uniforms and posing as staff. They found evidence in his car, maps of different parks and fake badges for each one, and lists of peak hours when parks were most crowded, when it would be easiest to blend in and approach kids without being noticed. I didn't want to ask what he did to them or what his intentions were with the girl. I might be only 19, but I wasn't naive enough to not know. The gig ended as the seasons changed, but the whole episode lingered. It's really disturbing how normal he looked and how casually he behaved, as if he belonged. And if I hadn't noticed the small things, he would have taken that girl and would have led her through the gate, and nobody would have known until it was really too late. This was supposed to be our last summer break before we all headed off to college in different states. David, Jake, and I were determined
Everyone
to make
has
the
the
most
exact
of it.
different
The last
haircut. If
weekend
it's
before the semester,
never gonna be the
David
same.
suggested we check out this huge water park on the edge of town. We thought it was a cool idea and agreed. The water park was packed with families
AI
and little
sign.
kids streaming all over the place. The main draw was definitely the wave pool, where pretty much everyone hung out, so it was kind of crowded. We started
I
checking
wanna
out
go
the
to
slides,
Aquatic and
pools, and the
SeaWorld
rain dance thing,
water park.
and only really looked at the wave pool once
I'm
or
just gonna
twice
hide.
because it was just so
Random
slammed.
person. Hi.
Around late afternoon, we figured we'd check out the wave pool before heading out. The waves had just died down and the water was super
Imagine
chill.
a guy dies
Everyone was just kind of
because
floating and
of the
relaxing,
wave
except this guy. He was standing in the deep end, staring off into space, still as a statue,
Zombie man.
while everyone else was moving around, chatting, and laughing. I pointed him out to my friends. "That's messed up," Jake said. We watched him
Okay,
for a
bro.
minute, but he didn't even twitch.
I think
He only
he's a
stood there in
corpse.
the water up to his chest. Huh. Maybe he's just testing
No,
himself.
corpse don't
You know,
stand
one
like
of those
that,
weird
dude.
endurance things?
Tony,
David
that is
chuckled,
not happening.
trying to make it sound normal, but he looked jumpy too. Just then, the big waves kicked in again,
He
and we
disappears.
totally forgot about the guy. Everyone was
Oh.
jumping, riding the waves and having a blast. But once the waves died down and
He's
the water
gone.
went still, I looked back at the deep end, and the dude was still there
Bye,
in the
bye,
same spot,
bye.
staring off in space. I got seriously creeped out. I'm gonna check something. I took a deep breath, dove underwater, and swam toward the deep end where the man was standing. The water was murky with chlorine stinging my eyes. I coughed and blinked. This time, instead of standing, I found him lying flat on the bottom of the pool, with arms at his sides and eyes wide
What
open,
if his name's actually Wyatt,
staring
though?
up at the surface and at me. I gasped, inhaled water, and panicked. I shot back to the surface, coughing and choking. My friends swam over to check on me. You okay? That guy is at the bottom, lying with his eyes open. We all looked. The man was standing upright again, right where I'd seen him before. What the hell? We swam back toward the shallow end and away from him. Something was wrong. Really wrong. A few minutes later, a lifeguard blew their whistle with loud, sharp blasts. Everyone had to get out of the pool immediately. We climbed out and stood on the deck, dripping and confused. The lifeguards were talking to each other. I was close enough to hear bits of it. Didn't we pull a body from here last week? Yeah.
It's not a corpse, it's a ghost.
Why? Someone just reported seeing a man at the bottom. Same description. My stomach dropped. The body and the man I'd seen lying at the bottom, it couldn't be the same person, could it?
Oh, it's a ghost.
They let everyone back in maybe after 10 minutes, saying it was a false alarm. David and Jake dragged me to the pool again, and we stayed in the shallow end this time. The waves started up again, growing bigger with massive swells lifting everyone up and down. I was riding a wave when it happened, laughing, when I felt ice-cold fingers grab around my ankles hard.
Feet!
They
No!
tugged, and I went under, with water rushing past my face. I kicked and tried to break free, but the grip was too strong, with fingers digging into my skin. I opened my eyes underwater. The man was right there in front of me. His face was pale.
Put your foot in his mouth and just shove it! Twist it! Kick! Ah!
His mouth hung open with jaw slacked. He looked like a drowned corpse, but he was moving and pulling me deeper. His fingers were around my ankle like a vice. I screamed with bubbles erupting from my mouth. I twisted and kicked at his face. His head snapped back, but his grip didn't loosen. He kept pulling and dragging me toward the bottom. My lungs were burning. I needed air and surface. I reached down and clawed at his hands. His skin was cold and slimy, like touching something dead. No matter how hard I tried, he wouldn't let go. My ears started ringing. I knew it was only a matter of time before he dragged me under. I thrashed around harder until I finally kicked him in the nose and yanked my foot free.
Oh no.
I kicked him again,
Maybe
right in the chest, and shot towards the surface. I burst out of the water,
they get colder.
gasping, coughing, and spitting up
You know
pool
how
water.
body temperatures
Jake grabbed
ghosts
me and pulled me
are
to
like
the edge.
have like
What
actual
happened?
hot stuff?
He grabbed me, pulled me under.
I think
I looked
maybe
back at the
he
deep
killed
end.
someone.
The man was gone, as if he'd never been there. But my ankle hurt. I looked down, and sure enough, dark purple marks in the exact shape of fingers glared back. The lifeguards came over, checked my ankle, and asked what happened. I told them about the man and about being pulled under. They exchanged looks and called security. They closed the wave pool for the rest of the day and drained it later that night. They didn't find anything. It's been half a year. The bruises are gone, but that memory is definitely sticking around. I haven't gone back to the water park, or even stepped foot in a wave pool since, because I know exactly what went down and what I survived. That dude's dead eyes still stare up at me from underwater, and his cold hands try to grab me.
Nope, not subbing. You suck. Or not really suck, but you have good stories, but I don't
Okay, bro.
Well, this is the time where you zip it real quick. Well, oh shoot. Well, thanks for watching today's video. I will be probably making another video soon or whatever. Well, if you like this video, don't be afraid to hit the like button. And also, if you want to check out my channel, you should subscribe maybe. And that's about it. So see you in the next video. Tony, anything to say?
Bye. And if you're watching, please, well, not please, do whatever you want. You could like if you really wanted to. You could subscribe if you really wanted to. Just do whatever you want. Be yourself. Be unique every day. And that's it.
Nice pep talk or whatever. Okay, well, thanks for watching today's video. Or not today's video, but I'll probably be back in a few months. Tomorrow, later. I don't know. But, by the time you're watching this, and if you made it this far, thank you for watching the entire video. And also, if you're watching this at day, morning, just late afternoon, night, or whatever, I hope you have a good rest of your time for the day, or the next day, or something. We'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.